Got it.
Recording in progress. All right. Welcome to the South Jersey Soccer Cast, where we discuss the Union, MLS, the U.S. national teams, and more.
I'm Matt.
And I'm his father, Jim. How are you all doing today? How you doing, Matt?
Uh, Doing well. Tired, but doing well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Been a quiet week in MLS land because of the
Yes.
international break.
Yes.
So
So
since it's been quiet, we'll get to the MLS games later because there were a couple. Why don't we start with the World Cup international break warm up thing that happened?
yeah, sure.
Why don't we go over who's going to be in the group with the U.S. because they're like the three most important teams in the world right now.
Yeah, for the U.S. anyway.
Well,
All right.
yes.
So first off, Wales played Belgium. They lost 2-1.
Yes.
Wales got dominated by a very good Belgium team. I believe they at least used to be ranked number 1 by FIFA. If not, they're number 2 right now in the entire world. So that's not a bad result for them. I mean, Belgium had 72% possession.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. So, again, not terrible, but a loss is a loss anyway.
Yeah.
And then Wales played Poland. They lost 1-0 there. Wales were dangerous on the counters and on set pieces. They're fast, they're quick, they'll catch Poland out. Couldn't convert, but Lewandowski had an insane assist to set up Charlotte's Swiderski, and he scored the game winner.
Nice.
And that relegated Wales to League B in the UEFA Nations League.
Yeah, not a good result.
No.
Sounds like they're still dangerous, though.
Yes, very dangerous. I wouldn't count out them just yet. I mean, they've played two very good teams. So they played them hard. They only lost by 1 each time. A loss is still a loss, though.
Yeah.
The other teams, let's go to Iran. They played Uruguay and won 1-0. And they held out against a very good Uruguayan team. I know some people look at Uruguay and think, well, it's a small country. It should be a weak national team. That's not the case there. No, not at all.
No, they're pretty powerful, especially for their size.
Yes. They're probably the most powerful for their size in the world. They're incredible. And then Iran also played Senegal. They drew 1-1. Senegal is the African powerhouse in their federation. They dominated the first half, Senegal, and it was chance after chance after chance, but they didn't convert. Not until the second half. There was incredible defending. Every defender for Iran just goal line clearances, blocked shots, saves by the keeper. It was beautiful to watch, just like the Union game against Atlanta. It was very similar. There was an unfortunate own goal. Defender got in the way of a shot, deflected it, was looking to go out of bounds, snuck in right next to the post, got past his keeper, and that's how Senegal scored. A few minutes later, though, Iran knocked the ball around in Senegal's box, got a cross in. An Iranian player got his head to it, scores, and it's 1-1. And that's how the game ends.
So. Yeah, I've been reading around, looking around, and listening to things. People are very worried about Iran. They're very easy to overlook.
Yes.
Especially since, Qatar is next door, just about. Playing like in their backyard. they're going to be. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people that haven't been paying attention.
They are probably the best defensive team, if not top 5 in the World Cup. They are not going to be easy to break down.
Yeah, like I said, they're going to surprise people that haven't been paying attention. I think if people are paying attention, they're worried about Iran.
Yes. And that leaves us with England.
Yes, England. Yay, England. Yeah, I'm sure you have a lot to talk about here.
Yes. England on paper are the strongest team in the group.
They have been, yes.
Have been for a very long time. That's only on paper, though.
Okay.
They lost 1-0 to weakened Italy. It wasn't the strongest Italian team. It's not the team that won the Euros. But still, Italy didn't qualify for the World Cup. They failed, and England couldn't score against them.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. They looked lifeless, just like the US these past 2 games.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about them later.
Yeah. But England didn't look good at all. The other game,
they managed to score some this
yes,
window.
in the second game, 3-3 draw against Germany. When you say they managed to score some, yes, they did. 3 goals, not bad. It was after they went over 7 hours of open play without scoring a goal.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, that's not a good record you want to have. But still managed to score 3 goals. One was a penalty, so still not open play. But the other 2 were just fine.
Yeah, I imagine that 15 minutes was crazy. Must have been fun to watch.
Yeah,
they everybody.
England went down 2-0.
Right.
And England used to be this great defensive team, but recent results, the 4-0 to Hungary, conceding 3 against Germany, they're not as great defensively as they really could and should be. But within 12 minutes, they scored 3.
Yeah.
They answered, going down 2-0, scored 1, scored the second, scored the third, going up 3-2. Last 10 minutes of the game, and conceded an 87th minute equalizer. And
yeah, that's never fun.
No, that result also relegated England to the UEFA Nations League, League B, along with Wales. So
yeah, that's not a place they're used to, is it?
No, England's struggling right now.
Yeah, well, I'd like to say that's good news for the US, but they're not much better, so
no. But
yeah.
England's just not happy. The fans, the media are calling for Gareth Southgate to get fired.
Yes.
In the run up.
Apparently it's very ugly over there.
Yes.
The press is against him.
From what I hear, fans are against him. The players back him though, so he still has the locker room, but they're playing uninspired, boring. They have all this attacking talent, and he seemingly can't use them. He's got questionable lineup choices and questionable selections. Yeah, he brought like something stupid, like 5 right backs this past window. You only need 2 or 3. But
I mean, was he at least did they all get minutes?
No.
Then why'd you bring them?
Yeah, exactly. Even their best right back didn't get minutes. Like, you got your number 2, number 3 guy, but the number 1 didn't play, and now you got relegated, and you're struggling for goals. And Trent Alexander-Arnold is this super creative right back, like probably the most creative fullback in the world right now. If not, then I have no idea who would be. But he didn't play at all, and seemingly Gareth Southgate doesn't trust him.
So,
and
it's tough. How do you hold the locker room?
He's got something. I don't know, but the fans see it, that they're struggling for goals, and their super creative player who's young, he's like 23 or something, isn't playing. So they're calling for him to get fired. They don't care about the World Cup semifinal. They don't care about the Euros final. That they've got the best results since like the 60s. They don't care
Yeah.
about that. They see that they can be better, and Gareth Southgate's holding them back.
Yeah. A lot of what have you done for me lately kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's all sports, so I mean, that shouldn't be surprising.
Yeah. I mean, the other way is like a lot of results minded thinking, and that's never really a good thing, you
Yeah.
know? And like, yes, you got to the World Cup semifinal, but you get better tactics, you win. So
Yeah. It's a,
who knows?
it's a tough one. A lot, yeah, that's sports fans all over though.
Yeah, of
And
course.
the press is usually better about that sort of thing. But are they in this case? Well, then again, it's the UK press,
Yeah.
the English press. They've been known to jump off the deep end every once in a while.
And if they think they could be doing better, but they're not, then I think you got to criticize him.
Yes, but maybe not throw him under the bus.
Yeah, but also, who's going to remember that England got to the World Cup semifinal in a few years?
They're not going to remember the coach. I mean, they
No.
might remember the result, but they're not going to remember the coach
No, and
or the players.
and they will remember if they did win.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I think there's a lot of justified criticism. I think there's also a lot of unjustified criticism.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully they get that worked out.
Yeah.
Or no, hopefully they don't. Right.
Yeah, actually, I think they should have a circus around the English team come the World Cup.
Yeah,
Be
that'd
better
be
for
nice.
the U.S. and for
That-
the rest of the group.
That'd be nice. It's probably the only way the U.S. is scoring more than 6 points is if England's got a circus happening
Yeah. Well,
in the group stage anyway.
we talked about the U.S. We'll talk about my opinions on the 6 points that you're saying that the U.S. would get.
Oh no, I said that was the only way they had a chance.
Well, okay.
It wasn't a good chance, but it's the only way.
Well, before we get dragged into that entire conversation, let's talk about other MLS news.
Okay, so the big MLS news this week was the announcement for the 2023 season opener. It's going to be El Trafico at the Rose Bowl. So 2 LA teams, Rose Bowl, fantastic, awesome stadium, been around forever, hosted every big event imaginable.
I mean, World Cup games, Olympic games,
yes,
everything.
yeah.
And
So
of course,
huge-
college football.
yeah, and a parade,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But it's like huge capacity in the stadium. It's one of the biggest ones. It's just it's not a modern stadium, so there's some I guess creakiness to it, but it's
Yeah.
also cool,
It's also a lot of history to it.
which
Like,
makes
yes,
it
it's
even more
old.
cool.
But because it's old, it has so much history. Yes, these are some bright and shiny stadiums, but might not have the history that the Rose Bowl has.
Right. So, yes.
But
There-
it's a good thing because it definitely shows that MLS is growing in popularity. Being able to have the Rose Bowl for the season opener, for
A
the two
lot of
LA
good
games,
positive attention for sure.
absolutely. Sure,
Yeah.
it's going to be a great crowd there
Yes.
because it's going to be a neutral game. So I wonder how that's going to work out if you're going to say, well, the Galaxy are going to host. So then later in the season, they have to go to LAFC stadium or the other way around.
Yeah, I'm sure someone's got to be the home team for the coin flip at least, and picking their kit.
And then the reverse fixture, someone's got to be the home team there.
Yeah.
So
But
who knows?
that will be at one of the other stadiums, I believe.
Yeah.
At least they haven't announced it. But anyway,
Yeah.
that should be awesome. Big spectacle, should get a lot of attention for the league,
Yes.
and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
Just the spectacle
Yeah.
of the whole thing.
I mean, great crowd there, no matter who's going to be at home and who's
Yeah.
going to be away. So
Yeah, and the two LA teams probably going to do all right in the playoffs.
maybe
Maybe.
not the Galaxy so much. They've
Yeah.
been faltering a little bit, but
Yeah, a little bit.
they did play this past week.
Yes, they did. And yeah, they played San Jose. They beat San Jose 3-2. So that was good for them.
Okay.
Bumped them up to 5th place in the standings. So that's a good solid spot for their playoffs.
Yeah, they're not 7th,
Right.
but still not home playoff game.
No, they don't have a home playoff game. I'm not sure that the numbers work for that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the numbers and it's not there. Yeah, I mean, well, it's not mathematically impossible either.
Well,
but it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So, but San Jose had great opportunity to eliminate themselves in the race for the wooden spoon. They just, they need 3 points.
Scored 2 goals. Sometimes that wins games. It didn't win this one.
Yeah, they need 2 points, and if they can score 2 points or 3 points over the next 2 games, their last 2 games, pretty much the spoon goes to DC. DC can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So that was one of the games over the weekend. The other one was the Seattle Sounders in Cincinnati. It was a 1-1 draw. That brings Seattle closer to playoff contention, but not quite there.
Sure, they would have wanted to win.
Yeah, they really needed to win. It's looking like it's probably a little too late at this point for them. They will probably miss the MLS playoffs first time ever.
Yeah, I think so.
Since they joined the league.
Won the Champions League though, so it's all good.
Yeah, they won. Them. They did, yes.
So.
I mean, it's hard to argue about their season, but I mean, first time ever missing the MLS playoffs. I mean, even if you got eliminated in that first round, at least you made the playoffs again.
Yeah. You're better than half the teams that didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. Cincinnati managed to pop themselves up over Orlando City, but Orlando City has a game in hand. And it's only 1 point. So,
and neither teams have home playoff game yet.
No, none of these teams have home playoff games yet.
Okay.
Yeah, none of the 4.
Okay. So
San Jose doesn't have a playoff game.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get one.
No, they're eliminated.
Yeah.
So they're not even playoff bound yet.
Yeah. And Seattle is looking at missing.
Yes. And Cincinnati is looking at seeing if we can get a home playoff game.
Yeah.
That game against Seattle could have done it.
Could have got them there.
Only got 1 point.
Yeah. But the thing is, if Cincinnati or Orlando manage to earn that home playoff game, it's going to come at the expense of New York City.
Yes.
FC. So, yeah. So that's been. It was an interesting week for the playoff race, but only because of what was Seattle going to do? How is Cincinnati shoring up their spot?
Yeah.
Right. Could San Jose get themselves out of the running for the wooden spoon? But they didn't. So
well,
it was interesting to see. It was mostly seeding.
Yeah, I mean the Galaxy definitely got more solidly into the playoffs.
Yes,
this week, but well, since those are the only 2 MLS games, I guess we can get into this discussion about the U.S. now.
Do we really want to? Yeah, I guess we have to, don't we?
Yeah, we have to.
All right.
Was that the third thing we talk about in the intro?
Yeah, probably.
Union, MLS, and the U.S. men's?
Yeah. The U.S. national teams.
Yes.
Because for the Women's World Cup, I definitely want to talk about them a lot, too.
Yes.
They deserve it.
Yes, because they actually do well.
And
play well.
Yes. So the first game was the USA versus Japan.
Yeah.
And
in Germany.
In Germany. And that was a 0-2 loss for the U.S.
Yeah.
The second game was against Saudi Arabia. And that was a 0-0 draw. And I think that was in Spain.
Yes. Murcia, Spain.
Yeah. Okay. So, not good.
So, let's start with the Japan game.
Okay.
One happened first on Friday morning. U.S. looked horrible in possession.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Had too many giveaways, bad spots, errant passes, poor control. I just couldn't control possession, couldn't string together a bunch of passes. Players didn't seem to care, which is
Oh,
bad.
that's scary.
Yeah.
At this point in time, they need to care,
I
especially
mean,
since
they just lack the intensity that Berhalter is demanding of them. And that's not good. I mean, no one in that game, none of the starters, none of the subs looked good, except for Turner. Turner had some good saves, but those saves were brought on because the center backs just gave the ball away. Midfielders gave the ball away. Couldn't do anything. And it just created chance after chance after chance that the US can't do in the World Cup. You do that,
oh no,
you're getting blasted. You're going
yeah,
home without scoring a goal, let alone a point.
yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So
So, well, for the Saudi Arabian game, still poor in possession, still too many giveaways. I know a big question about Ricardo Pepi, seeing if he can be the guy, if he can be a starting striker or even a backup striker for the
right,
US.
but I mean, he did well in the couple in qualifying, then kind of went to Europe and struggles been since, right?
I mean, not really. He didn't even do well in qualifying looking back.
No,
He only scored like 1 or 2 goals against weak opponents at home. That's not going to happen in Qatar.
no,
And he was invisible against one of the weaker teams in the World Cup, Saudi Arabia. Not a powerhouse, not strong. US should beat, and Pepe did nothing. And Ferreira came in around 45 minutes. I think it was around halftime anyway. Ferreira had one chance, wasn't a quality chance, and then was mostly invisible for the rest of the game. Didn't do much. And same thing in the Japan game. Center backs gave the ball away too cheaply. Just errant passes. Zimmerman had one pass out to, I think it was Sam Vines at the time, going from center back to the right back. Just missed him completely, went out for a throw. And didn't need to happen. Just didn't need to happen. Needed to be better. And McKenzie wasn't any better. Aaron Long was poor. No one looked good. Even Adams, who has been the stalwart for the Berhalter system, that number 6 spot that is just so crucial to what Berhalter wants to play. He was probably the worst player. I can't really think of anyone who was worse, because he either played safe passes when he needed to progress the ball and didn't, or he did play forward passes and more progressive passes, but instantly gave up possession.
yeah, it's rough. I mean, it sounds like maybe some people that had spots on the World Cup roster might be losing them. I mean, obviously, don't know what's going through Greg Berhalter's head, but I mean,
Yeah,
the play was that bad. It's potential that some people have lost their spot.
Yeah, I know that there's some talk as to seeing if Berhalter promised World Cup spots already, and that's why the players didn't care enough, because why prove anything? It's a friendly. You don't need to play hard to prove that you're able to go to the World Cup. Berhalter already said you are, so why not?
But he also said that he was bringing people that were on the bubble and may or may not be coming. And if no one has played well, maybe those folks that went from may or may not to are not.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But
Yeah.
I am not happy with how the US has played these 2 games.
Yeah.
If nothing changes, I don't see the US winning a game.
Yeah, you could be right.
I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, like, we were talking last week about what we were watching for, And it looks like we both got disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just nothing. And it's just a mess.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen? I'm thinking, would they play Wales first, right?
Yes.
If they don't win that game, they're going to end up with 0 or 1 points.
Yeah, well, if they don't win that game, I wouldn't say that they end up with 0 or 1 points because, I mean, Wales is a good team.
Yeah, but
It's
I think it might break their confidence.
Yeah. And right now, looking at this group, either Wales or Iran are the best.
Yeah.
I don't think it's England. I don't think it's the US. It might not be Wales because Wales haven't been convincing. It might be Iran.
Yeah, that's the dark horse.
Yeah. And rightfully so at this point.
Yeah.
They probably should be favorites.
Yeah.
Because they're just playing the best.
Like I said, if the US doesn't beat Wales, they probably don't have it in them to beat Iran. And at which point they're probably eliminated and they're going to take off the England game and get beat anyway.
Yeah. And it's going to be frustrating.
Yeah.
Because, yes, everything has been leading up to just qualify for the World Cup. We've seen the failure in 2017.
Right.
And how the U.S. didn't qualify for 2018.
Yeah.
Now we have. And it looks like we stopped caring.
Yeah. I mean,
the entire goal was to qualify, and that's it.
Yep.
Don't care about the World Cup now.
Yep. Mission accomplished. We're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to go home.
Went through in qualifiers, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't. Unless something happens, unless this team that showed up this window is not the team that shows up in Qatar.
Yeah.
And they're going home early.
Which, I mean, to be fair, these were friendlies. Now, looking back at past results for the U.S. In that final window of friendlies before the World Cup, there's been mixed results. You either win and then go home in the group stage, or you lose and advance in the group stage. So it's not entirely indicative, but it is super not encouraging.
It was like Joe Gibbs and his when he was a football coach down in D.C. Never won a preseason game. Won plenty of Super Bowls while he was there.
Well,
you weren't around then.
No.
It was before your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it was like, you just look at their record and it's all 0-3, 0-4, whatever, however many games they played. But you know what? At the end of the year, they didn't lose their last game.
Listen, they make it past this group, make it into round 16 quarterfinals. No one's going to care.
No.
Who's going to bring up this loss against Japan if they manage to beat England or Iran or Wales and advance?
Yeah,
No.
I mean, you know, if they beat Wales in that first game, I would not be surprised if they didn't get 6 points.
Yeah.
Maybe even 7.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got 4 as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got 4 as well. You are
or
correct.
Just 3.
Yeah.
They could end up with just 3, which would be disappointing, but it's still a tough group, to be fair.
It is a tough group. And you know, we knew that when they drew it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Again, I'm not entirely doom and gloom. I'm not full Berhalter out right now, but he fails this World Cup, he should go. He's not the guy.
Okay. You're probably not alone.
Oh, I'm definitely not alone.
Well, I know you're not alone. Yes.
So.
But you've convinced lots of people you've talked to in the wider press.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, enough about what happened last weekend. What's coming up this weekend?
Well, let's start with the Union game.
Yes.
Union go down to Charlotte on Saturday.
Okay, on Saturday. So what's the weather forecast going to be? I think there's a hurricane or something heading that way. Maybe.
Well,
who knows?
Yeah. Well, doesn't look. It's not going to be all sunshine and warm weather. It's going to be rainy, but not horrible.
Right. And then and poor Florida.
Yeah, well, I've heard Tampa is not getting hit too bad,
Right.
so that's at least something.
Yeah, but there are spots of Florida that are pretty hurting right now.
Yeah, well,
So hopefully they recover quickly.
yes. Going back to the game though, Union win and they clinch the East.
Yeah, I believe their magic number is 2 points.
Yes,
So
and
if they can score 2 points, which you can't do in a single game,
no,
because you either get 3 or 1, they're in. So if they win, they're in. If both Montreal and they tie, they're in, which is not. It's
well, wouldn't
not,
the Montreal tie get them in?
yeah,
no matter
Montreal
what?
tie would get them in. Yeah, because that drops 2 points. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Well, looking at recent form, Charlotte are second for the most home wins in the East.
that's pretty good.
Real good, and only behind the Union, who are undefeated right now at home. But fortunately, the game is in Charlotte.
Has Charlotte lost at home?
Yes.
Okay.
They are 2-0-3 in their last 5 home games.
Okay.
The most recent home game was a win over New York City, which snapped a 3-game home losing streak. So they haven't been in great form, but it's not horrid either.
Yeah.
And the Union are 2-1-2 in their last 5 away games.
It's a little better than
but
Charlotte's home record.
But not by much.
No, a little.
And by all means, they should have lost that Atlanta game, and it's the exact same record.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that Atlanta game was painful.
Yeah. So, looking at Charlotte's Swiderski, okay. He's going to be the danger man for the Union. He's the striker. He's going to be the guy that they're going to have to defend hard. He scored against Wales in that 1-0 against Wales and Poland.
Yeah.
So
you're saying if they can basically keep him quiet, they got a chance?
Yes, they got a very good chance because their defense is a little weakened. The one of their center backs who started most of their games, Christian Fuchs, is suspended for a red card.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, violent conduct, I believe 3 games ago. It was an automatic 1-match ban, and then they put on another match after review. So he missed their last game and now this game.
So if he's got I thought you said it was a 3? Oh, it was 3 matches ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be 3 matches ago.
My brain was missed that by a little. Off by 1 error is what we would call it at work.
Yeah. But going back to Charlotte at home, their home stadium is a tough place to play.
Giant crowds from what I hear.
Absolutely. They are almost at max capacity on average for the season.
Yes, they play in an NFL stadium, so it's big.
Bank of America.
Yeah.
For the Panthers.
Yes.
Their capacity is 35,000. They closed down some sections just to condense it a little more, save on some things, some maintenance, but their capacity is 35,000. Their average attendance is 34.5. About 500 away from max.
Makes me wish Subaru Park was bigger.
Yeah. It'd be great. But, having a soccer specific stadium is nice.
Yes.
Don't have to share it. So,
yeah. Like the bridge.
Yes.
Bridge is
Love
cool.
the bridge. Love the bridge. Love the river.
And the river.
And the words that say union is great. Everything about that stadium. Yeah.
Of course, you want to criticize not soccer-specific stadiums. We can talk about New York City.
Well, yes, and a whole bunch of other places, but
Yeah, at least an NFL stadium is mostly the right shape.
yeah, mostly,
Mostly.
not a baseball diamond.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I want to see the Union get back to scoring goals.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Well, I mean, they only were shut out their last match, and then they scored 2 against the Red Bulls. It's not the 6, 7 goals, even 4 goals that they scored against Atlanta in the reverse fixture.
yeah.
But it's another 6-0 win. I'm not going to complain about.
No, I wouldn't complain about a 6-0 win. How can you complain about a 6-0 win?
Well, they could have had 7.
Yeah, well, you get to 7, then you complain they could have had 8 instead of record.
And then you got to go for 10.
And then,
Yeah,
you're crazy at that
well,
point. Anyway, I'm hoping they get back to scoring goals. The problem with, I'm really hoping they get shots on goal. Because if they start getting shots on goal, some of them are going to go in. If they get enough of them.
Yeah.
But really, how many shots on goal did they have against Atlanta?
None.
Yeah, it's like
1?
none. Like, I'd have to check the stats, but it's like none.
It's 0 or 1. I don't know, but it's not many.
Yeah. I'm thinking an early goal might be good. Because big crowd in Charlotte, they're going to get into it because, here comes the big dog of the Eastern Conference because, they're leading, the Union's leading. They got a chance. Charlotte, could use points for playoffs.
Yeah, they're on the outside looking in right now.
Yeah, they are on the outside looking in. They could use some points. I think the crowd's going to be into it. They'll be excited.
But I think a late winner is just as good as a early goal.
Yeah, but an early goal can.
Looking at the Union, thinking, oh well, a draw here isn't all too bad, and then going 89th minute, 90th minute stoppage time, and then like Carranza Gazdag puts one in the back of the net.
Well, if it's going to be that late in the game, it's Burke.
Well, yeah, okay, Burke. And then like the entire crowd goes silent and be great.
Yes. But I think if the crowd starts building a momentum,
it's going to get worse and worse.
It's going to get worse and worse and worse before it gets better. So I think an early goal should at least keep the enthusiasm level reasonable from the crowd. I think they're going to be into it the whole time. I don't think you'd be able to get them quiet.
I mean, you don't draw these levels of crowd without them being enthusiastic.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, I think if an early goal might tamper that, or tamper, that's not the right word.
Hamper?
Hamper.
Yeah.
Tamp. Yeah. That's what I was going for.
One of them.
One of those. Anyway, might keep the level of enthusiasm in the crowd down to a reasonable level.
Yes.
Or reasonably high level, because we know it's just going to be high.
Yeah.
That'll help.
And
if
Charlotte deserves it.
Yeah.
They've backed the team full way. I mean, to keep drawing crowds, they're setting attendance records for expansion teams. It's great to see. But,
So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, if early goal, maybe follow it up by, near the end of the half.
Yeah.
First half.
Like I think
the second and go into
Charlotte,
halftime 2-0.
They go down. If Charlotte go down 2-0 at any point in the game, not even just before the half, I think the crowd is really taken out of it.
Yeah. I heard Bedoya's healthy.
Yes.
he was on the field for the friendly.
I'm not sure if he was on the field, but he definitely was on the bench. He was available. He was rested for it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I meant he came out on the field and was dressed and was ready to play if they need him.
Yeah. He was rested for the friendly. I'm not sure if he did play or not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad he's healthy.
Yes. I mean, It was a training injury. It wasn't anything serious, but he is the heart of the Union.
Yes.
When he plays, the entire team plays better. Yeah. It's not even when he plays well, the entire team plays better. It's when he plays.
Yeah, I mean he's the captain for a reason.
Yeah.
I think he does a lot of, maybe directing and controlling and managing the team from on the pitch. So
Yeah. I mean, as
and,
much as Jim Curtin can give them instructions, he said time and time again, if they're playing well.
yeah, yeah.
Let them be.
One of the things that would be really awesome, that's most likely not going to happen. Get Gazdag another hat trick. That drops him right in the middle of the Golden Boot race.
And MVP race.
I think that wins him MVP.
It might.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's such a long shot.
Yeah. I know a lot of reporters have said it's really just a 2-horse race right now with Hani Mukhtar and Driussi.
Right.
But another hat trick and Gazdag right in.
Well, Gazdag, another hat trick might put him in front of Driussi for the Golden Boot.
Might. But does it put him ahead of Mukhtar?
No. Mukhtar,
Okay.
I think, has four goals on him.
Okay. So he's still a little further behind. And obviously, I have no reason to suggest that they're not going to score anymore.
Right.
I mean, they're just that good.
Yes, that's true. And I'd like to think the MVP is not just a rubber stamp on the Golden Boot winner this year.
Yeah, I would hope so. But
I mean,
who knows?
Yeah. I mean, but this year, that's all they've been kind of talking about.
Yeah.
And it's just been those two.
I mean, offense sells.
It does.
So,
I've always said there's players that win you games and there are players that put butts in seats in your stadium, and the offense puts butts in seats and wins games. So
yeah. And that creates a lot of value.
Yes. So that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking forward to the game. I'm looking forward to them being back. They've had some time to think about how they basically dodged a big bullet down in Atlanta and figure out how to not do that again. So, I got confidence in the team that they'll at least pull that off.
And if Blake and Gazdag come back from international duty, a little rested, a little more energized, haven't played with guys that they know represent their country that they love, might put them over the edge.
Yeah. And you know what? It might just go, all right, that part is done. Let's get back to work. And, these guys are professional athletes.
Get the East, then get the Shield, then get the Cup.
Yep. Isn't that the second, third, and fourth goal Jim Curtin laid out a while ago?
I think so. Yeah. I
Make
think
the
first
playoffs, win the East, get the Shield, win the Cup.
Yeah.
Well, and that would be so awesome because no team
would.
has won both the Shield and the Cup in a single year.
Not entirely sure about that. I
well,
thought some team has, but I couldn't tell you who.
I had read that no one has actually done that yet.
Well, it might be Shield and Open Cup or MLS Cup and Open Cup.
Well, it's definitely MLS Cup and Open Cup.
Yeah.
And obviously MLS Cup and the Champions League Cup. The Champions League, because no MLS team has won the Champions League till this year. Right?
Yes. In their new format,
yeah. Anyway. There's a lot of
there's a lot of
old.
records like that, yeah.
And then, and it would be really nice because still there are some detractors for the Union winning the Supporters Shield in 2020 and then in the shortened season because of COVID.
Yeah. And just like there's some detractors saying that New York City shouldn't have won the MLS Cup last season because of the Union with the COVID situation.
Yes.
But I don't buy into any of that.
They're like the detractors that said Max Verstappen shouldn't have run the World Drivers' Championship in F1 last year because of the way that last race ended.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's over. It's done. Let's move on. Let's win the East.
Yeah.
Win the Shield. Win the Cup.
Win the Cup.
Yeah.
Best thing is win it right now.
Yes.
Don't let anyone else decide it for you.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of don't let anyone else decide it for you, what's happening with LAFC this weekend?
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll talk about that one because you talked about the LAFC game last week.
Yes.
Uh, so Portland versus LAFC. LAFC go up to Oregon this weekend on Sunday. It's going to be a hard fought match, in my opinion. Portland at home, always a good time. Portland play hard. They're fighting to keep their playoff position.
They got the guy with the chainsaw.
Absolutely. Yes.
He loves that. The
Yes.
fans love that too.
Oh, yeah. The Timbers Army is all over that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the players love getting those slabs of wood that says
Yes.
that they scored. Portland are 3-2-0 in their last 5 home games. So unbeaten in the last 5. Yeah, that's good.
Unless you're LAFC, that's good.
Well, unless you're LAFC. Speaking of them, LAFC are 0-1-4 in their last 5 away games.
That's good if you're Portland and the Union.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And Montreal.
And Montreal?
On a technicality, because I think they can get the shield.
They can get the shield, but they have to pass both LAFC and the Union.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's again,
any drop points helps them.
Yeah. Philadelphia's magic number is 2. Like 2. Yeah. So
looking back at previous results, because they played each other twice already. Portland lost 2-0 in the Open Cup in LA.
Okay, but that was Open Cup.
Yes. So there's some things to be said about that. Some things to be said, well, not entirely serious, not fully serious like a league game. But in the league, they did draw 1-1.
Well, what round was the Open Cup game? Was
I
it
believe
early
it was
round?
The third round.
Third round?
Yeah. Earliest they can enter.
That was the earliest they can enter, yeah. So they may not have been taking it quite as seriously as they wanted, as they should have.
No, I take that back. Latest they can enter, because they could have entered in the second round, like Orlando.
Okay.
Who won the entire cup.
Yes, good for them.
Yes, very good for them. But third round, early round, not A teams. So a little weaker, going depth against depth, and I would expect LAFC to win that 100 out of 100 times. They're just insane.
Yeah.
But in the league, they did draw 1-1. Portland were down to 10 men last 30-ish, 25 minutes.
And this was in LA.
Yes. And they gave up a last-minute equalizer.
Oh.
So, going in the league, you might think that LAFC can and will lose this game. Portland are strong at home. LAFC have been weak on the road. They couldn't beat them at home, down to 10 men. But they did in the Open Cup. So they have that result to look at and say, well, here's what we did right. And look at the league game and say, well, here's what we did wrong. We should have won against 10 men at home against a weak Portland team. Because this isn't Portland that made the Open Cup last season. They're just, something about them is off.
Yeah.
They haven't been playing perfect.
Yeah, they're fighting for their playoff spot still.
Yeah, they're just slightly behind where they normally are, and they look beatable. But I still have Portland to win.
Okay. Yeah, and you're probably right. I'm not going to argue against that.
I mean, it might just be hope from me, but looking at it, I still think Portland to win.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's tough. Because if you think about it, right? LAFC's got the West locked up. The only thing winning this game does is help them win the Supporter Shield. Yes. And if they're more focused on winning the MLS Cup, they might. Remember, these are professional athletes. These are people that this is their job. So they might not play quite so hard. They might give up some things. They might find themselves down early, or gets late in the game and it's looking like a draw. They might kind of not attack like they would?
I'm not entirely sure I would believe that, because right now they have locked up the West.
Yes.
So they have that bye. They should play as hard as possible right now. Make sure that there's no rust, because you don't want to take like 3, even 4 weeks off.
No, I'm not saying take the week off. I'm saying,
Well, even play slightly below your level. You don't want to do that. You want to be as sharp as possible going into that first round bye, so you have as little rust as possible going up against a weak team on short rest, or a weaker team on short rest.
is it short rest? I thought it was a week rest.
Looking at how playoffs end up, it seems that whoever plays the 1 seed in the second round only has 4 or 5 days of rest,
Oh,
as
okay.
opposed
So
to a
that is-
full week.
Yeah, that is short.
So it is
Yeah.
shorter. It's not 2 or 3 days. It's
Yeah.
not horrible, but even still, they want to play as hard as possible, keep the pressure on the Union, make sure they can do as much as they can, because at the end of the day, a trophy is a trophy.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter that they have players who've won more games than some players have been around for. Like
Right.
some youngster for LAFC. I mean, Chiellini and Bale have practically been winning every trophy that is available to them before
Yeah.
those kids were born.
Yeah.
I mean, it would not surprise me.
Yeah, but there's also some thought that maybe some of the players are playing to not get hurt. They don't want to get hurt because they'd rather win the MLS Cup than the Supporter Shield.
There's also the thought that some players are looking to go to Europe or make sure that they're not replaced next season.
Right.
Like if you're Arango, they're a striker, and you look at, well, practically every other position in the attack has been replaced.
Yes.
And they've brought in a new person, except for Vela, who's the club captain, and like Vela. You look at your position and say, well, let me make sure I'm not replaced next season. I want to be here. I want to be a part of this team. I want to continue winning.
Yeah.
Let me play as hard as possible to prove that you should not replace me.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I agree. There's definitely a lot of that. You look at what the Union's doing this year, and the backups are pushing the starters.
Yeah. As hard as the starters are pushing themselves.
And the starters are pushing the backups to be better. It's like, all right, you want to come after my job? You got to work.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make it easy.
And the backups aren't making it easy either.
Right.
They're saying, don't get complacent.
Yes.
We're just as good.
Yeah. And, I think when the starters end up on the bench for a game or two, they start from the bench and maybe sub in later. I think they're happy that the other player is just out there doing so much better than maybe a backup should be doing. And it's good because it seems like it's a healthy competition, whereas you could have a competition where people are not healthy about it. They get angry when they get beat.
Yes.
Whereas
I don't think that's the case with the Union or LAFC.
No, you're probably right.
So they're still a very good team.
Yes.
But they haven't been as good as they should be. They should have won the Shield by now. Looking at who they brought in and all this talent that they have on their team, starting 11, their second 11, all their depth.
And the lead they had, at the beginning of September.
Yeah. All 3 games in Texas, they dropped points.
Yeah.
In Houston, dropped points. In Austin, dropped points. In Dallas, dropped points. So they might say, well, pick yourselves up. We're not done.
Yeah, that's true.
but I still think Portland's going to play them hard as possible.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
And
So,
the fans are going to love it. The fans are going to have Portland's back.
oh
The
yeah,
chainsaw guy is going to have Portland's back.
yeah. We need to learn that guy's name.
Yeah, we should.
Anyway, yes. So it's always good to be able to beat the big dog coming into your house.
Absolutely. Which is
Yeah.
what Charlotte's looking at for the Union.
Yes, absolutely. So, and I agree. You know, across all sports, right? You always want to take down the leader because that makes you closer.
Yes.
Yeah, you beat up on somebody behind you, that doesn't help much. You beat up on somebody in front of you in the standings, you're pulling them back while you're going forward.
Yes.
So yeah. Speaking of pulling people back while you're going forward, New York City versus Orlando up in New York.
Okay.
You look at the way the standings are shaking out. That game will probably set the seedings. I mean, not entirely by itself, but it, will
One of
really
those
do
teams are going to have the home playoff game because of this game.
Yes. Like, I think so you look at them, they're 4 points apart. Orlando is behind New York City. New York City, if Orlando wins, brings them to 48 points. New York City's on 49. Orlando has a game in hand. It just confirms more of the slide New York City's in. And I think between the game in hand and the final game of the year, Orlando probably passes New York City and earns the home game at this point. If New York City comes out and wins, especially in a convincing manner, they're going to keep the home game. They probably can't catch the Red Bulls. I don't remember. I looked at the numbers.
Yeah, I don't think they can catch the Red Bulls right now.
No, I don't think they can either. So really, New York City's fighting for that last home spot.
Yeah, and Orlando's
looking at stealing it.
Yeah,
or earning it from them.
Yeah,
so
and keeping the momentum from their Open Cup win.
Yes, of course.
Because yes, they did lose the Union right after.
Yes,
they still won their next game.
Right.
So keep going.
Yeah, and New York City finally broke their league losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
The last game. So
yeah, beat rivals at the Red Bulls.
Yes,
at home, great win.
Yeah,
unconvincing, but a good, solid win.
Yeah, so that was a very good result.
Yeah, good result. Not great method. How's that?
And they won the right before that. They won the Campeones Cup. I think.
Yes.
How badly did I butcher that name?
It doesn't matter. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but people out there listening and watching us, should at least know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, Campeones.
Campeones. Okay, I was close.
I think. I'm not entirely 100% sure, but that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Yeah, so, they got themselves a trophy. They won their next game. Got out. Maybe they got out of the slump. Maybe it was just a blip. And that's really, this Orlando game's going to tell what's really going on at this point. Is New York City going to continue to slide? They probably can't slide out of the playoffs. I think they've got a playoff spot pretty much locked up.
I think so at this point.
Yeah, but they're looking very vulnerable to losing the home game though.
They can go to a low seed, 6-7.
Yeah, but I don't think they can actually drop all the way to 8.
Yeah, I might not. Who knows?
So this is definitely probably the biggest game left of the year for determining seeding order in the playoffs.
Yeah, because it's basically a 6-pointer.
Yeah,
because Orlando win, they're 1 point behind New York City. New York City win, they're 7 points ahead of Orlando.
Yeah.
So it's if New York City win this game,
they've pretty much locked up their home game.
Pretty much. So this is definitely a game to watch and pay attention to.
Yeah. If you want to watch, if you're a neutral fan, you want to see something important coming up this week,
where both
And
teams are going to be playing
we're
very
both-
hard and very motivated.
Yes. Well, any one of these 3 games.
Well, yeah.
Because you got the 2 Shield contenders. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not sure which, they're not playing each other.
And they're both away, though.
And they're both away at places that are pretty rough. You know, Portland's harder than Charlotte.
If not just as hard as Charlotte.
Yeah. And I think Portland's probably a harder place to play.
I think Portland has the reputation, but if Charlotte continue to have this serious home crowd, then I think Charlotte might pass them.
Yeah, it's possible.
But
It's definitely
that's
possible.
in the
So,
future, not right
yeah.
now.
But if you're a neutral fan, you want to watch the game that's going to have the biggest impact on the playoff race in the league. It's probably this New York City Orlando City game.
Yeah.
So yes. So that's it.
Yeah. That's all I got.
That's all I got. So anyway, let's that's all I got on my notes. So
That's all I brought to the table
Oh.
this week.
all right. Thanks for watching and listening to the South Jersey Soccercast. If you're on YouTube, please leave some comments to let us know how we are doing. And like and subscribe to get notified when we upload next week's episode. Thank you for listening.